I watched a leader lose the boardroom. And it wasn't because she wasn't articulate, or that she didn't know her subject, or have the right facts and figures. It's just the room went cold, completely cold. I knew exactly what was happening, and it had nothing to do with what she said. You see, unanchored leadership creates an invisible but massive organizational drag. Now, here's what we know. Most leadership development investment goes into communication skills, the presentations, the storytelling, the executive speaking programs, and yet the research is clear. 75% of leadership careers derail, not because of skills, but emotional competencies. You see, we're 100% emotional human beings, and we can't outrun emotions. They derail because of emotional competency failures. Now, the gap is not what the leader says, the gap is how they land, right? The one mistake I see brilliant, articulate, highly prepared leaders make is treating presence as an extension of articulation, right? It's like they're thinking to themselves, if I say it better, frame it better, it's gonna land. And it doesn't, right? Because you can have stronger words, but if your presence doesn't follow, then your words won't follow. Now, let me explain why. Let me draw you a distinction that will change the way that you think about every high-stakes conversation that you walk into from this point forward. You see, articulation is what you say and how you structure it. It's how you conduct yourself, right? It's your language, it's your logic, it's your reasoning. It's the layer of leadership that schools teach. And it's the one that you've spent your career refining, because that's what you've been told to do. But presence is something completely different. It's what the room registers the moment you walk in the door. What is it about you? What's emanating from you? They're picking up this energy, this frequency. Think about it like a theater. You can write the most brilliant script in the world, but if the actor walks on the stage and the audience doesn't feel grounded, doesn't feel commanded, they are not going to listen to the script. They're actually reading the actor because the actor portrays the script. And if they do it wrong, everything goes wrong. Now, in 30 years, I saw this happen in the boardroom all of the time. I'd see people with really strong technical skills. Sometimes I'd see people who are articulate with me and with their teams, but they'd go into a high-stakes meeting and crumble. They'd literally crumble, particularly when people started to question them because they didn't feel them, right? They didn't feel who they were. They didn't feel the certainty of the project. Here is what the brain does in a high-stakes room before any logical processing happens. The nervous system is already doing something called neuroception, a subconscious threat assessment. And within milliseconds, the people in that room are registering. Is this person regulated? Are they anchored? Do they believe what they're saying at a level deeper than words? Now, those people in the room, they're not doing it consciously. You see, the nervous system literally runs a scan automatically. And the answer it gets before your first sentence will determine how everything you say is received. Now, here's the big mistake that happens. Leaders who are highly skilled at articulation tend to over-prepare their content. They rehearse their arguments, they perfect their language, they manage the message, and in doing so, they create exactly the conditions that undermine presence. You feel it when someone comes in and they want to present to you. They want to get their words out, but you can't feel them. You just can't feel them. Because here's what over-preparation of content actually does to the nervous system. It creates a cognitive load. It creates control, and control is the opposite of command, right? The attempt to control the message lightens the body, shallows the breath, raises the pitch, and narrows the gaze. And every one of those signals, the room picks up subconsciously, not as this person is well prepared, as this person is managing something, and managed energy, even brilliant, articulate, well-structured, managed energy does not command a room, it informs a room. I can remember in my early career, I walked into a boardroom and I also was prepared. I knew my facts. I understood the direction that we needed to take. But then I started seeing people looking down at their papers, flicking through things. Then they started to ask deeper, stronger questions. And I thought, they don't believe me. They're not buying my credibility. Now, it took me years and honestly some significant failures to understand that the work wasn't in my language, the work was in my state, in who I was being when I walked through the door, not what I was saying once I got inside. Most organizational development goes into communication skills, right? How to communicate better, how to present better. But in actual fact, it's the thing that lets companies down. So all you technical, brilliant people out there, if you don't get this message, you're never going to get that project across the line. You're never going to convince people because you're not walking in presence. Presence is the felt sense that people have of you, that felt sense. What do they feel about you? Before you say a single word, what do people feel about you? We all feel this energy, whether you like it or not. You know what happens when someone walks into an interview? You feel their energy. You know what you do. So why is it any different in a high-stakes boardroom? Is it because you're putting so much emphasis on your skills, or the fact that you want to get your message across the line, or that you think that's what you have to do? Because I'm telling you now, it's not how I became a CEO in my 20s. It was presence. So people back people that believe in themselves and believe in what they're saying. They believe in the presence, not the information. They believe literally in command, but not in control. And there is a massive difference. You see, the work is in the state, who I was when I walked in the room. I'm going to take you through 3 shifts, right? Because I want you to understand how important this is. The first shift I want you to make is to prepare your state, not just your content. So before every single high-stakes conversation, build a practice. Even if it's 3 minutes before every meeting, anchor into your body, into your state, who you are. Feel who you are, right? This is really important. Anchor into your state. Slow your breath down. Feel your feet on the ground. The room will read you before you say hello. Shift 2, speak from identity, not from the argument, right? The most commanding leaders in the room are not the leaders with the best case. Have you ever seen that? You're in a meeting and you know that your argument is better than the person sitting across from you, but theirs carries weight. It's because their presence carried certainty. When you speak from identity and not from argument, people feel that, right? They feel that level of presence because you know who you are. You have clarity over who you are. And the argument is just an extension of your identity. Shift 3, let the room breathe. Don't go in and overload people because it comes across as control, not command. Don't go in with all your facts and figures and data and your spreadsheets because the room can't breathe. And it signals what? It signals control, not command. These 3 shifts are really important. Prepare your state, anchor into your identity, and make sure you let that room breathe. Articulation will get you to the table with the CEO and the other senior leaders and decision makers, but presence is what will get it across the line. The leaders that matter the most in the next 3 years won't be the leaders that articulate things well. They'll be the leaders that have presence and poise, the leaders that know how to steady the room, how to give people confidence and assurance. They're the leaders where the room is elevated from them just being in it, not by their words, but who they are when they walk through that door. If this landed with you and you'd like to know more about executive presence and the neuroscience of leadership, please subscribe to my channel. I've also put a link in the comments around the Anchored Leaders Code.